I'm live. Hey, it's Alpita, and welcome to Transformational Tuesday as I deal with my frizzy hair here because we are in monsoon season here in Connecticut. It's been freaking raining like the Great Flood since Sunday night and will continue throughout the day. So, anyway, today I want to talk about, we're going to touch a little tiny bit on astrology. Let me move this because it's like kind of annoying. I will figure out the lighting. There we go. It's like, how do you get it to like not glare my glasses? Okay, that's not bad. Okay, I can deal with that. I can live with that. All right, so today we're talking about three things. One, the astrology of the week. Two, we're going to put oracle cards. And three, I am thinking of doing a new class called, I don't know what it's going to call. Freaking light is just like, I don't like the reflection on my glasses. Anyway, okay, so let's start with the first thing. So there's a lot of planetary things going on. There's always a lot of planetary things going on. We do have a new moon coming up next week. We'll get to that when we get to that. Right now, the really thing that is I'm noticing affecting my life, besides this freaking light, is Mercury Retrograde. So it's all about rethinking stuff, redoing, and especially since it's in the sign of Cancer. So this is your home. It's your body. It's your home, meaning you're the home of your soul, but it's your physical environment too. It's your comfort. It's the people you surround yourself with. It is, it's your home. Okay. It's your environment, and your environment are people, places, and things. Okay. So that's really important. Rethinking that. How are you talking about these things? What are you doing? Okay. Remember, Mercury is about our words. It's not just about like rethinking, but like having these conversations in your head, having these conversations with a coach like me or someone that you trust, and like trying to identify what needs to change. What isn't working for you? So for me, one of the things that I did was I went into this AI therapy app that I've been working with for over almost a year now, like 10 months now. And I was just like, I know that there are 5 things that I love to do for money, okay, in my business. Okay, let's talk about that. And a lot of people have told me like niche down, pick one thing, focus on one thing, and it's like, okay, I just can't. Okay, I'm a manifesting generator in human design. If you know, you know. And it's like telling me to pick one thing is just like restricting my flow. Not everybody is a person that like does one thing. They're just not. We have to lean into who we are and use everything, every gift, skill, talent, habit, thought can be used for good, or it can be used against us. Okay, we can use it to create the reality we want, then we can use it to create our hell on earth, heaven on earth, or hell on earth. Okay, whether it's ADHD, it's autism, it's OCD, it's whatever. Part of it is the meaning that you bring to it, seeing it as a disorder, seeing it as a bad thing, and part of it is what you do with it. Okay, so the fact that I love to do 5 different things, and it's more than that, but it's 5 that like I keep coming back to. Okay, so I went into the AI therapy app and I was like, I want to identify the friction. So this is something I talk about in my with my clients. It's like identifying what is the thing that's getting in the way. What is the friction? Because that's what it is. It's like, is it a thought? Is it a perception? Is it an actual resource that is lacking? Do you not have the support? Do you not have the money? Time is never a thing. It is the perception of time. So one of the things that I identified is the perception of time. It's like, one, time blocking doesn't work for me, but habit stacking does. And not just habit stacking, but like, so one of the things that I have had challenge with, and I'm being very mindful with my words because that's what we're going to be talking about at the end, although we'll probably get to it before then because it's already coming up, is that the dishes, okay, for the past year or so, it's like I don't have a working dishwasher. I'm not the biggest fan of doing dishes. It's not my favorite thing, right? I've made some peace with that. And it's like, okay, finding a time to do the dishes. Okay, I gotta get caught up. The dishes need to get done, blah, 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 blah. And this weekend, I noticed I was just like, again, like my thinking is an aha moment. My thinking is, and this comes from my human design, I have a passive digestion. And what that means is that I my insights are like light bulb moments, okay? And also I can strategize, but it's usually in hindsight. And it's easier for me to strategize for other people than it is for me. Now that can be viewed as a negative thing. So I'm working with ChatGPT. I'm working with my AI therapist so that I can have that reflection so that I can get better at noticing the things that I'm saying and the things that I'm doing. So we were working on friction. And one of the friction points around the dishes, right, was the fact that like what's the right time to do it? And I had this story of like after dinner, I'm tired. I don't want to do dishes. And I'm like, okay, but it's like 3 plates and 3 utensils. Like I don't have to do all the pots and pans. If I just did that, at least we would have, stuff to for breakfast, right? And I was just like, okay. So I get on Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. I get on a call. And usually I make my coffee. I make my hot water with lemon and then I make my coffee. And I was like, well, I'm on that call. I'm just pretty much listening. I do talk a little. There's parts where there's speaking required. But I'm like, that's a really good time to do dishes. And then it's 15-minute call. I can do 15 minutes worth of dishes. And then I can continue if I don't have something pressing to do or if I'm feeling okay. Part of it is being 5'2". It's like, and not wanting to lean on the counter. Like, I don't know who created faucets, but they really did not think about the people that are going to be using them, aka mostly women, and their body shape and what our structure of our body is and how we interact with the faucet. Okay? I get tired. My back gets tired because of the way that I'm standing at the kitchen sink. So I can't sit there for 2 or 3 hours and do dishes, although dishes should not take 2 or 3 hours, right? So anyway, I get tired. So I started coupling. So it's not exactly habit stacking, but I call it habit stacking in my head, like attaching things to things that I'm already doing. So that it is kind of habit stacking, right? Like I like to, like when I shower after like 8 or 9, I brush my teeth, like I go pee, I brush my teeth, and then I hop in the shower. That way, when I go to bed at like 11:30, 12, 1 o'clock, preferably the earlier times, I don't have to think about it. It's already done. Because at midnight, my brain is going to tell me I'm too tired to brush my teeth, which takes like 2 minutes. Because my brain thinks it's too tired to do that. And I might not have the energy to do that, even though we're like, oh, it's 2 minutes. So instead of shaming ourselves, instead of fighting our own brain and the way that we do things, our body, our capacity, right? It's like work with it. So I went into my AI therapist and I was like, what are the friction? What is getting in the way of me doing these things that I want to do? And I'm telling you, it is so fucking powerful when you look at it that way. You can even say like, where am I self-sabotaging? But I don't really like that. I don't think it's self-sabotage. I think it's like, my body has this capacity, my brain has this capacity, and they are not on the same fucking page. How do we get them on the same page? So this is some of the stuff that you want to be thinking of with Mercury retrograde. But today, Neptune, the planet of dreams and illusions, the good stuff and the bad stuff, has gone retrograde in Aries. And Aries is about our identity. It's also about self-reliance, of self-confidence. It's all the self. Okay, Aries is all about being self-centered, and in good ways and bad ways. It's about introspection about yourself. And especially Neptune and Aries, it's like, I want you to think about, who do I think I am? Who do I think I am? I'm sure some of you, if you're like me, Gen X, you were told, who do you think you are? My stepfather loved to say that. Like, who do you think you are? Like, we're not Rockefellers. Meanwhile, he's wearing $120 leather shoes to fucking sew, and like his shoes are getting fucking trashed because they're constantly bending with the sewing foot, the sewing pedal. Like, that's not very fucking intelligent. But you spend $120 on shoes, but I have to fucking buy shit off the clearance rack. So a lot of times our parents were a bunch of fucking hypocrites. Say, do as I say, not as I do. They can have fancy things. They can be stupid and insensible and like frivolous and whatever. But like, and a lot of times they were projecting their own fucking shit onto us. And we all do it. We're all hypocrites in some way. Sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes it's a bad thing. Sometimes it's not us being hypocrites. It's like, I'm a parent and I can swear and you're a child and you can't. I'm a parent and I can drive, you're a child and you can't. Sometimes it's situational inappropriateness. So the reason I'm bringing this up is this is the theme right now. Okay, every period of time has a theme. And the themes are picked by the universe or whatever you believe in. And astrology is reflecting that theme to us, right? It's saying, what are you thinking about? What are you talking about? Mercury is putting the spotlight on our words. And Neptune is saying, what do you think of yourself? Who do you think you are? Like, where are the illusions and the delusions that you've bought into? Okay? And I want you to think about, our beliefs are created by, one, repetition. If you keep saying something over and over and again, you're going to fucking believe it. Regardless if it has any basis in reality or not, you're going to start to believe it. If somebody tells you you're not good at something, and they're like, my music teacher was like, you can't sing, you're tone deaf. Okay, I was like 11, 12 years old. I was being abused at home, and of course I don't feel like I have a voice. She didn't fucking know that, and I didn't know how all that was connected. See, it's coming. But I believed her. But I did notice how when I sing in Greek, I am more on tune than when I sing in English. Okay? So that was really interesting. So we start to notice these discrepancies in our world. We start to notice how we're really good over here, but we're not really good over here. And what's the difference? And that's what I want you to focus on in the next, 6 months, let's say. I might have to look at the planetary shit to tell you, but I'm going to tell you 6 months into it, probably. I'm not sure how long Neptune is in retrograde, but I'm going to say 6 months. For the next 6 months, if you really paid attention to, one, the words that you use to describe yourself, to talk about yourself, your capacity, your capability, what you can and cannot do, and who you think you are and who you think you're not, your freaking world would change. Your entire reality would change. I'm going to share a story with you. So I have this person who I introduced to this job that I did last year. Okay, I'm not going to go into all the details. And yesterday she was complaining how, like, there never seems to be any chefs. And I said, first of all, you're new, so you're not getting priority, right? So that's going to change as you have more time, talk time, right? That more feedback, you're doing the job more. Right? And it kind of feels like a loop. It's like, oh, you can't get experience without a job, can't get a job without experience. But here's where you have power. And I said to her, I said, stop saying that. Stop saying that there's no shifts. I want you to think about and say, there's plenty of shifts for me. The shifts that I want are available. Because that's what I did when I started that job. Because for a week, I sat there refreshing the screen, and there was nothing. And then I was like, oh no, motherfucker. Like, I need this job. I need to do this. And there will be shifts for me. And sure enough, like, literally, I sent her this voice note. She sends me a voice note 4 or 5 hours later. And she's like, oh my God, I got shifts for this week and shifts for next week. I'm like, awesome. She's like, oh, law of attraction. I'm like, yeah, it is law of attraction. It is. It's law of assumption, whatever you want to fucking call it. I call it self-fulfilling prophecy because I'm fucking Gen X, and that's how I was introduced to it in my teen years by my Uncle Costa, right? And so it's like we do have that power. Our words create. Okay? So as I was saying this to her, I've been very much noticing when people speak and how like sometimes the most positive people have like the worst languaging. Okay? And sometimes the biases we have towards other people and towards even to ourselves, right? So being mindful of it. What do you want to create? And I always think of the little engine that could, because it really is. I want you to think of this time period, the next 6 months, as you are the little engine that could. And I don't want you to say, I think I can. I want you to say, I know I can. Okay? Like right now, I'm taking a prosperity class with the Center of Spiritual Living. It's based on Ernest Holmes' work, where it's about this. Like the universe is just this like field, and we impress upon it, right? Think of who's the other one who talks a lot about this? Neville Goddard, right? All same school of thought. So in the Center for Spiritual Living, they sometimes they use negative words. I don't like to use negative words. I like cringe when I see people out there and they're like, oh, money is effortless. No, effortless is a double negative, and we don't use double negatives unless you say, I can't not do it, because that is real. When you have a calling, when you feel like you need to do something, that's, I cannot not do it. That's how you know something is aligned for you. You can't not do it. Okay? Like, I can't not be a coach. Like, here's this woman that I'm helping with this job, and now I'm fucking coaching her. In my tarot, I coach. It's not all about the fucking cards. It's about what are you going to do with the energy that's surrounding you? What are you going to do with your energy and your desires? It's not about what the fucking cards have to say. Although we look at what the cards have to say because they give us a little sneak peek. They help us get underneath. They help us like unravel what is there. They help me get into your energy so that I can see what is holding you back. And every single motherfucking time, it's you. I like it's, I'm gonna find the meme where it's like, it's Scooby-Doo and it's like, oh, who's behind the sabotage? And they pull the thing off and it's you. Because you're the one who's sabotaging yourself. And I don't say that as a blame. I'm not pointing the finger as a blame. I'm pointing it out so that you can become aware of it. How are you sinning against yourself? Don Miguel Ruiz talks about this, how like when we sin against ourselves, when we say yes and we mean no, when we say no when we mean yes, when we talk about ourselves and put ourselves down that we're not good at something because somebody in fucking 5th grade told us that we weren't good at it. And is she on stages making tons of money? No, she's still working in the elementary school. And I'm not saying that to put her down. I'm just saying I want to put her in her rightful place. And I don't mean like put her in her place like a smackdown. I mean like she's a middle school music teacher. And she did not know the whole story of what was going on in my life and why I could not fully release my voice. And I did not feel safe enough sharing that with anybody. So I'm not blaming her. I'm just saying how one person's words can get stuck in our head and create a whole series of beliefs, a whole story, a whole delusion, Neptune, right? Of how we're not good at something. My parents used to say to me that when I would like, because my psychic ability is very much open mouth, insert foot. Gate 51 in human design, if you know, you know. And I would say stuff as a teenager, especially as a teenager. When I was going through puberty, my intuition was just like on fucking overload. It was like, you see the little meters that go like this, and it's like danger, danger. It was on overload, and shit would just come out. I had no filter. I still don't have a filter. It's part of my personality. I could give a fuck. But back then, it was just like a lot of times I would shut my mouth because I knew I was going to get in trouble, right? And in trouble meaning like get hit, not just get yelled at, right? And so there were times I'd open my mouth and say shit, and people would be like, "Oh, Peter, you don't know what you're talking about." And my intuition's like, I know what I said. I know what I said and I know it's true. And I started to believe that I didn't know what I was talking about, to the point where like I had a hard time marketing myself, and still do to a certain extent, because of that story running in my head. And they're right. I did not know what I was talking about. I didn't. I had no fucking frame of reference. I didn't know what I was saying was true or what it meant. Like, it just meant gibberish to me. But your male person doesn't fucking know how much your electric bill is, and it doesn't mean that they're not doing their job or they're incompetent. I'm not supposed to know what I'm talking about when I'm doing a fucking tarot reading. You're supposed to know what I'm talking about. The message isn't for me, it's for you. So when I say something random, like find the key under the rusty old box in the basement, I don't care. It's not my key. It's not my basement. Like, I don't know what that goes to. And I'm telling you, that message, I saw that. There's like a rusty old metal black box, and there's a key underneath it in somebody's basement, and somebody who's watching that needs that information. You're right. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know who this message is for. I don't know what the key is for. I think you've been looking for that key for a long time and you thought you lost it, and it's fucking really important. And I think it goes to a safety deposit box. And there's something important in that safety deposit box, and you've been fucking stressing out about it. And now, here, I gave you the answer. That shit just came through. It's like me being your mail person and handing you a letter, handing you something that just has your name on it. I don't know what's in it. I don't know what it's about. I don't fucking care. That's not my responsibility. And if the person who's meant to see this sees it and is like, oh my God, Alpita, you're fucking amazing. I've been looking for that key. Awesome. Comment below. I want to hear about it. If you like it beeps in your head, it like pings, and it's like, oh, that, I think that's for me, and you ignore it and don't do anything about it, there's nothing I can do about that. Do you know how many clients I've had, and mostly it's friends, not even clients, where they keep coming for tarot reading, and I used to talk about how like a drowned soaked horse is no wiser, you know that expression, you know, you can lead a horse to water but you can't make it drink. Like, I would literally like dunk their head under the water and try to force feed the information to them, and they would still do the dumb shit that they're gonna do. I can't control that. I can't control that. I can't control what you're gonna do. I can't make other people do what I want them to do. Okay? And maybe that's a belief. And I know that's a fucking belief, because we can manipulate people. We can coerce people. We can charm people. We can manipulate people in positive and negative ways. And we can be like, hey, you know, like, we can. I choose not to. Okay? Because I feel like you need to be a fucking person and an adult and take care of your own shit. Okay? And if you come in and get a reading, or I coach you or something like that, I will help you get the fucking to the bottom of why you're not listening and why you're not taking action on your intuition or my intuition. I've had clients that have been with me for years, and sometimes it takes a while. Me, with my ex, 13 fucking years. I knew from the beginning that this relationship wasn't meant to last. But I ignored the red flags, and I ignored the red flags. And I'm grateful to a certain extent that I did, because I've 3 beautiful boys that I just totally fucking adore, even though sometimes they drive me batty. But I adore them, and I wouldn't have them specifically. Could I have found another partner and created different children? Absolutely. But I wouldn't have those 2 boys if I didn't have that man in my life. Okay? And I can sit here and piss and moan about the 13 years, or I could just move the fuck on and say, okay, what does the next chapter of my life look like? And instead of saying, oh, wow, you know, each husband got progressively worse in certain ways, it's like, okay, notice that. Like, I had a client yesterday, and one of the things that she said to me several times, and it stuck with me. Now, mind you, when I do a session, especially an intuitive, although they're all fucking intuitive, let's be honest, mainly tarot and like channeling and stuff, I don't always remember everything. I'm not meant to. Again, I'm just the messenger. But I remember her saying several times that nobody wants to work. And I was like, yesterday I kind of like, you know, addressed that. I was like, you have employees that are not doing what you need them to do. and you have this belief. And I know it's a belief because you said it several times. A belief is just a thought that has been rehearsed many, many times. Every time you stub your toe and you say it's going to be a crappy day, what are you doing? You're creating associations, you're creating beliefs. You are in real time manipulating your brain and programming your brain. Instead of saying, and this happened to my second husband, he would constantly stub a toe, and finally one day I like angled the bed a little because that was the only thing I could do, and he stopped stubbing his toe, and guess what? He stopped having bad days. But it wasn't the toe, it wasn't the bed, it was his meaning that he was attaching that. Like the first thing he did when he first got up, he experienced pain. And pain because of his own resistance to do something about it. Because he believed that this is what life was about. And Alpida's like, okay, tired of hearing this shit, tired of experiencing this shit, I'm gonna do something about it. And I literally angled the bed a little so that he didn't stub his toe anymore. And look, better fucking attitude. And it can be that fucking easy. Sometimes we need to manipulate our environment. Again, Cancer, Mercury in Cancer, right? Getting new curtains, changing your sheets, like refreshing your environment, vacuuming your carpet. Hint, hint, wink, wink, Joseph. Carpet needs to be vacuumed. And sometimes it's the inner work. It's the inner work that needs to happen, because my carpet could be as filthy as fuck and I can still feel comfortable and safe in my being. It doesn't mean that I don't like a clean carpet. It doesn't mean that the carpet doesn't need to be vacuumed today. But when you feel safe and secure in yourself, because you know you have the power to create your reality, and you do know it up here because you're already fucking doing it. Law of attraction is working all the fucking time. All the fucking time. You think that there's going to be traffic, guess what? There's traffic. And you're like, oh, well, Peter, but it's 5 o'clock and there's always traffic. Oh, well, Peter, it's the summertime, and of course businesses know. It's not fucking slow for people that are selling bath towels and bathing suits and shit like that. But it's also not slow for the people that believe that they can make money no matter what. The people that believe that they can sell ice cubes to Eskimos, to use a phrase, to turn a phrase. So what I want you to really be mindful of your words, and not judgment, not be like, I've seen this where people do the ironically enough, they go like this, and they're like punishing themselves for their words. I don't want you to punish yourself for your words. I just want you to notice them. Every time you say something that's like, oh, that's what I'm putting out into the universe, that's what I'm creating, I want you to step back and just be like, okay, that's interesting. And not get attached to it. Like, see it as a cloud passing through the landscape of your brain. And next time it happens, be like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know I believed in that. And the more you observe it, the more you start to step back from it and disassociate from it, the more you'll notice that you stop saying it. And you can even take it to the next level and be like, that's curious. Just kind of like step away from it. Create some distance with that thought, that reality. And then you can start adding in what you want. Like, I noticed that I was paying my bills, which was amazing because I went through a period last year that I couldn't pay all my bills. And I created that. Because what did I focus on? What would happen if the bills didn't get paid? And what did the universe say? Oh, you want to experience that? Oh, that's what you want to experience? Here, let me show you what that looks like. And then you're like sitting there and you're like, no, that's not what I meant. Okay? And it doesn't mean that every stray thought is going to manifest into something. But what if every stray thought did? Would you clean up your thinking after that? Sometimes it's just one thought. Sometimes we think something one time and we have so little resistance to it, so little friction, and it manifests, whether it's positive or negative. And then sometimes it takes time to like build the momentum and build the belief, just like the little engine that could. And I don't want you to say, I think I can, because I think is like, I think so. It's timid. I know this month I'm going to make X amount of dollars. Do I know how I'm going to do it? No. And that's the other thing. I decay. Stop saying that. Yesterday morning, I said, okay, this is the amount of money of making for July. I'm not sharing that because I think, cuss. Don't share everything with everybody, okay? Because there are people out there that are like to rain on people's parades. And I don't think sometimes they do it on purpose and sometimes they don't know what they're doing, okay? It's just a habit, right? It's just who they've become. They're a negative Nelly and you don't need that shit. But it's like, okay, this is the amount of money I want to make. I'm curious how it's going to come. I mean, I've seen a check with my name on it with that amount of money. And I'm like, that would be really cool. Who's going to give me that check? I have no idea. And then yesterday I had a client reach out and was like, I need this, this, and this. And oh, you used to do candles. Like, what happened with that? And I was just like, I still do candles. It's just like, well, I want a candle. I'm like, okay. I'm like, you just have to ask. I'm not the kind of person who pitches stuff all the time. I'm not the person who, like, you have a tarot reading and I'm like, oh, and you could do this, da, 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 da. I will suggest stuff if I feel like it's helpful, but I'm not a pushy person. I'm not an upsell kind of person. Unless I feel like, oh, we've been talking about this a while, maybe we should do this. Okay? And again, I always leave it in my clients' hands because they're fucking adults and they have a choice. I may know in my heart and soul and through my intuition what they need to do, but they need to get to that place. I can't force them. I'm not going to manipulate them. I'm going to let them get to that place on their own. Because I know what it's like to have resistance and not be ready for that change. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? Sometimes we need to wrap our head around, like, what does life look like without that partner? What does life look like having your own business or making this sort of change? Sometimes it takes time. And sometimes we just wake the fuck up and we say, you know what? From now on, this is my reality. And both are okay. And you might do both. I don't know what the fuck that was. Okay? And boom, boom, boom. And I said, she was, a bunch of things. A bunch of things. Okay? So yesterday, and I had a tarot sale. That's another story. I'll tell you one more story and then I'm going to pull cards. So for about a month, maybe 6 weeks, I had been saying how that there were past tense, right? You can talk about stuff, but talk about it in the past tense. There were no sales on eBay. Okay, so on eBay, I'm selling my tarot bags. I sell my jewelry. I do get rid of some stuff that we don't need here sometimes. And there were no sales. Now, mind you, I'm not posting all the time, but like I've got 200 some odd items on there. And I know on eBay there's millions and billions of items. But I know my items are really cool. And I do have repeat buyers that come back time and time again. I have people that I have one woman who has bought ready-made tarot bags and had custom tarot bags made to the tune of like over $400 over the past 2 years. So when people experience my products and services, they come back. Okay, it's just the truth, and not because I want it to be true, but because it is. I see it. Okay, and sometimes it's seeing is believing, and a lot of times it's believing is seeing. Okay. But it's the universe being like, you are really good at what you do. Go this way, right? So last week I had somebody buy 2 tarot bags and he's like, can you combine shipping? I'm like, yeah, of course. And then I had put the package out to be picked up and he messaged me and he said, hey, can I add another one to that same package? I'm like, you've got a half an hour before the mail comes. And he's like, okay. And then the sale went through and I literally grabbed the package, opened it up, stuffed another tarot bag in it and put it out there. And like 5 minutes later, the mail lady came and picked it up. So 3 sales, same person. Okay. And I refunded him the shipping and all that stuff. It wasn't a huge amount of money, but it was sales. I'm looking for sales because more people that get to know me, the more they get to experience me. And I always put in a note that you can contact me privately. I do other things. I have a QR code that takes them to my link tree of all my products and services, etc., etc. I got this. I know what I'm doing. I've built this out. It's taken time, but I've built this out. And yesterday, he bought another one. And I messaged him last night and I said, listen, there's monsoon season here in Connecticut and the roads are flooded, so it's not going to go out till Wednesday. Message me this morning, can I add another one? I'm like, absolutely. And he's like, are you going to refund the shipping? I'm like, yeah, as soon as I get my laptop back from my 10-year-old, which I did so that I could do this live. I created that. I created that. It is not a coincidence that after 6 or 7 weeks of no sales on eBay, that all of a sudden I have sales. And one person has bought 5 tarot bags. It's not a coincidence. There's no such thing as coincidence. Remove that word from your vocabulary. And I guarantee you, if we look up the meaning of the word, it doesn't mean what we think it means. Because 9 times out of 10, it doesn't. Like, I want you to think about your words. People talk about can't afford something. The word afford, I want you to go look it up on fucking Merriam-Webster dictionary, whatever dictionary. It means to save up for. So that thing that you say that you can't afford, yes, you can. You can save up for it. See how we learn words through context, and we don't always know what they mean. Like, people are like, oh, you can't be wishing and hoping your life away. Do you know that the word hope means expectation? It does not mean wishy-washy. And there's one of my favorite memes, and if I find it, I'll post it below, is like, it's a picture of a little girl, and she's got like smudges on her face. And it's like, hope is like dirt under your fingernails, getting up every day, and persevering. And why do I know the meaning of the word hope? Because Alpita means hope in Greek. I know the fucking meaning of that word. Okay? And so when I use I hope, I know it means I expect. Now, if you like the word I expect better, or I create, then fucking use that. I don't like the word exercise. I don't like the word diet. And it's so ironic because people are like, I'm going on a diet. I'm like, do you realize that the word diet just means everything you fucking eat? So you already are on a diet. This is what I mean. People do not understand what words mean because we are not, a lot of things are learning context. We all do it. I had to fucking go look up words. Like, there was a prayer treatment from the Science of the Mind, and it talked about rightful employment. And I was just like, okay, I like this, but what does employment actually mean? And it means having a job. And I don't want to have a job. So I had to redo it. Okay? And, change it. Because I didn't want to use that word because I don't want to have a job. So a lot of times when you're using words and you're like, what am I actually fucking saying? That's Mercury retrograde. So if you find yourself like, why am I using this word? What does it mean? Go look it up. I don't use the word exercise. I use movement. And actually yesterday I decided that I don't even want to fucking dance for exercise or movement. I want to dance to celebrate my life. Like tribes used to do all long time ago. And so I'm like, I'm going to do celebration dances throughout my day. One song, 3 times a day. That's 9 to 15 minutes of exercise. Okay? Because I know that dancing is the only that and swimming are the 2 movements that I like to do, that I enjoy, that feel good to my body, that can get my body moving. But if I associate it with exercise, I'm not going to want to fucking do it because I don't want to fucking exercise. Do I want to move my body more? Yes. Do I want to dance more? Yes. Same goal, different words. So change your words. It's not avoidance. I could go do all this work and like remove all the negative connotation around the word work and diet and exercise. Why? There are so many fucking words in the English language or whatever language that you speak that you can go and fucking just pick another word. Pick another word. You don't like the word prosperity or abundance? Go pick something else. You don't like the word wealthy or rich or healthy or happy? Go pick another word. In human design, I'm always encouraging people, especially when we talk about the signature and the not self theme, find a word that resonates. For me, it's satisfaction is what it's supposed to be. I like the word fulfillment. That's the word I use. I want to feel fulfilled. And fulfilled means that my mind is engaged, my emotions are engaged, my soul is engaged, and my body is on board. All of it is on board. I feel like, I think of Austin Powers and I'm spent. Like after he does one of his photo shoots, if you know, you know. That's the feeling of fulfillment, of satisfaction. Sometimes satisfaction feels hollow to me. It's like, yeah, I figured it out, but whatever. Okay? So be mindful of the words that you're using, especially the words that you use around yourself. One last story, I promise. I used to say that I was tired all the time. Everybody asked me, how are you doing? Tired, tired, tired. And what did I notice? I was constantly feeling tired. Anything that you attach to that I am, you are creating. Anything. So I stopped saying that. I started to notice it, and the more I notice it, the more I detach from it, the more I tuned in, and I'm like, am I feeling tired? I was feeling tired. And I kept creating that because I kept saying it. I kept identifying with it. Anytime that you say I am, you're identifying with it. So I started saying, I'm feeling tired. See how like you're detaching from it. It's a feeling. Feelings are fleeting. They move like clouds. They come in, they go out. One day you're tired, next day you're not. Blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden I started noticing that no matter how much sleep I get, I don't feel tired anymore. Sometimes I feel tired, but I'm not tired. I am not tired. I may feel tired. I might not get enough sleep, but I am not tired. See the difference? It's such a little subtle difference, but it changes worlds. It changes worlds. Think of the whole Y2K thing. Like, it's always going to be 1900. Yeah, okay. And then it created all these problems. Just a tiny little thing, a tiny little piece of code that they just were lazy and shortcutted. Because sometimes a shortcut is a bad thing, even for a manifesting generator like myself. We are built for efficiency. We're built to create shortcuts. But that is a bad shortcut. I know that. And then it caused all these fucking problems. And some of the things didn't even make problems. There really weren't so many problems. Like, I think it was a over-exaggeration because they didn't know what was going to happen when the year turned to 2000 and now the clock is reading 00. And most systems were fine, and some they fixed and some crashed and whatever. The whole world didn't fucking melt down because of it. So I just want you to be mindful of it. And before I get to the oracle reading for this week, I'm going to tell you what I am. So I noticed yesterday, like 5 times, I'm talking about being conscious with our words. And I did take many years ago, I don't think she does this anymore, a course called Conscious Languaging. And I really loved it with Mary Dennis. And she's one of my feng shui teachers. And she's also Greek. And just this camaraderie, right? This connection that we had. And I loved her course. But I want to do something a little different. I want to work with like 8 women, 8 people. It doesn't have to be women. And I want us to just go through, and I don't know what it looks like yet. I know the pricing is going to probably be between like $200 and $300. It's going to be 5 to 8 weeks. I haven't flushed out all the details yet. This idea came to me this morning. I'm already putting it out there. This is a change in me. I used to procrastinate on shit because of my beliefs, and now I'm just going to put it out there. So basically it would be the 9 of us would meet every week for however many weeks it ends up being. And we're going to talk about the thought, the theory, and the reticular activating system, and psychology and biology and stuff like that. But we are literally going to be looking at your words. So this is going to be a hands-on. I'm going to be giving you real live feedback on, like, when I notice you say something, like my client yesterday about complaining about her employees, and I've noticed before, she didn't say it this time, but like before where she was talking about nobody wants to work, it's like it's not that she's creating that, she's attracting that. So sometimes the way that we create something is we attract it. If you believe that all men are cheaters, and then all of a sudden, every man that you're with cheats on you, that's because you have a belief and you're attracting that. You're not making them cheat. You're just attracting that because that's what you believe. So that's what you're going to see. It's like when I bought my Kia Sedona, and all of a sudden they're everywhere, and I'm like, I didn't even know Kia made a fucking minivan. Right? You bringing attention to it and awareness to it, and now you're seeing it everywhere. That's what we want to do. We want to notice our words. That's step 1. Bring awareness to our words. And then how do we shift our words to create the reality we want? Because sometimes it's not as easy as just saying the fucking opposite. Okay? Like if you are in debt, you don't want to be talking about I have no debt, because the universe doesn't hear I have no. Like for a while I was saying, and I think I mentioned this already, but like I was like, I don't have a consistent income. And I was just like, last week my brain was just like, Alpita, shut the fuck up. You Every month you have money coming in. Every month all your bills get paid. Every month you have money left over. Every month you have money in savings. Every month you have money to do not just want needs, but also wants. How is that not a consistent income? Because we're taught that a consistent income is $500 a week, $900 a week. That's a job. I don't have a job. I have a business. It fluctuates. This week I might have 10 eBay sales. Next week I might have 15. The next week I might have 7. Last week I had not a single client and not a single sale, but money still came in. Because that's just the nature of the business, right? It ebbs, it flows. And when we get attached to it being consistent, because that's what we're taught, you need a consistent job, you need a consistent income. No, bitch, I need to make a certain amount of money so that I can pay my bills and have money left over. Put some money in savings, treat myself and my kids. There is a number there. And this is what I mean. I kept saying that I didn't have it, but I was creating a consistent income. So sometimes even when you're saying negative words, you're creating the positive version. So we're going to talk about that, because it's not like losing weight. Loss is a big thing for me in my life. Okay? So I don't want to lose anything. What I want, and this is funny because as I was making pancakes last night, I was talking to Alexa and trying to find wording. And I was just like, I want a better word for, I don't want to be skinny. I like my curves, but I definitely like to lose some of my belly fat, right? And she's giving me words, right? Synonyms. And then I was like, well, I really would like an hourglass shape. And again, I don't need flat stomach. I actually like a little curve to my stomach. I like the belly dancer's body, right? I'm Greek. It's a vibe, right? So we're talking about it, and she said something about the natural shape of my body. And I was like, oh, yes, I want my body to reveal her natural shape. And then, of course, the mind goes to Shrek, right, with Fiona, where her natural state was a fucking ogre. See, this is how insidious our beliefs are. We have these attachments, these fucking, the tangled web we weave when we start fucking deceiving ourselves. Neptune in retrograde, right? So it's like, let go of that. No, I know the natural shape of my body is a curve. It's an hourglass shape. It's not a flat belly, but it's also not the belly that I have right now. So I let that go. And then I'm like, I don't want to talk about the how. I want to talk about the end result, because that's what motivates me. And this is where human design comes in. We're going to bring in a little human design into this course and be like, okay, what's the outcome? I'm like, my body is happy and healthy and in its beautiful natural shape. I'm still playing with the words. So sometimes it's playing this game of word association and going and looking up words and finding synonyms and just playing with it. But if something is really important to you, if there's something that you want to create in your world, I'm telling you, doing the work to, 1, notice what you are thinking and feeling and saying about it. Notice your awareness. And then 2, pick better words. Find the words that actually depict the life that you want, the body that you want, the finances that you have, the partner that you want. Okay? And that's what we're going to be doing in this course. There will be more details coming on Thursday, on Thriving Thursday. I'll be doing another live and I'll be doing another post. But in the meantime, if you want to get on the waiting list, if you're like, Alpita, I want to play with my words, I know that sometimes my words are creating against me, then message me. Get in there, because I'm only taking 8 people. Okay? And it's going to be deep and it's going to be intimate. Again, I don't know what the exact pricing is going to be or how many weeks it's going to be or when it's going to be, but I know that this is what the universe is calling me to do. Because when I talk about this 5 times fucking yesterday in 5 different scenarios with 5 different people or groups of people, that's the universe saying, go this way. And I'm going to go this way, because this is the work that I've been doing. I've talked about this before, where I talked about my business pays all my bills. And then I noticed that I had 27 cents left in my account, but the bills were all paid. And then I'm like, and money left over. So I started playing with that. And I'm like, I paid my electric bill and there's money left over. I bought groceries and there's money left over, right? And money left over, right? And then I was like, oh, now I want savings. And then I created that. And then I noticed that I started saying that, well, if enough money didn't come in, there was savings, and I was like, oh no, we don't want to be doing that. Well, we don't want to be touching that. We want to be putting money into it and not taking money out. So that's where I'm working on creating that overflow, as they talk about. Okay, so it's like it's a game. You have to have fun with it. You have to be irreverent with it, but you also have to be fucking honest. It's not about like being like afraid to speak or think. It's about just getting curious about the things that you're saying and how they're showing up in your world. Okay, I kept saying how I didn't eat lunch, and I was just like, okay, I know that's a problem because I'm not getting enough calories. So my body's like, poor little peasant's not getting enough calories. We need to hoard the fat. It's not creating the reality I want. So yesterday I had lunch, and I'm like, oh, now I'm hungry for lunch. I'm actually hungry for lunch now. And noticing that and going that way, right? And then I talked about movement, like not having enough time for movement. It's not that I don't have time. It's like, what do I anchor it to? Like with the dishes, I anchored it to my 9 a.m. daily prayer call. It's like I'm standing there for 15 minutes listening. Why don't I do some dishes? See? Like I need some of that external support. And so I'm creating it. I'm looking at what are the things that I can anchor to in my world that will create that. What does that look like for the three like celebration breaks? I don't know yet. Probably one right after this because I'm tired and I need to move. I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling a little stiff and feeling like the Tin Man and needing to stretch. Okay, so maybe that's what it is. I really like the song Harlem Shake. And for a while last year, I was doing that. Every night I would, because there's something about the shaking with like a dog shakes or animals shake after they've been in a fight or flight situation and helps to reset your nervous system. And I was doing that every night. And do you know I would sleep better? I was like, why am I not doing that? So maybe that's something. Like every morning when I get up and every night before I go to bed. Maybe I do it in the shower. Well, that's a thought. Like I just bring my phone in there and turn on the Harlem Shake and just shake in the shower. I don't have to shake the entire time. Again, it's baby steps. It's notice what's working and being like, okay, how can I do more of that? And notice what is creating against you. And it's like, okay, how do I distance myself that? How do I do that less? I talked about that yesterday in this other class that I'm taking. And I'm like, it's a habit. Our words are a habit. And that's what a thought is. It's words that just it's a thought that you've thought over and over and over again and it becomes a belief because now you have all this evidence because the universe is like, oh, yeah, I'll give you more of that. You want more of that? I'll give you more of that. And now you have more evidence, right? Because seeing is believing and believing is seeing. It's a two-way street. The universe is a two-way mirror. So like what we put out there, we'll see reflected back to us and vice versa, right? So it's like, how do I change that? How do I start to notice what I'm putting out there? And part of noticing is like, what are you experiencing? If you keep saying that you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're just asking for more of that. So stop doing that. Okay? And then people are like, oh, well, then I got more shifts. Well, if you don't want more shifts at work, what can you create else? What else can you create? Like for my business, I stopped saying that these are my businesses and I call them my streams of income because that's what I want. I want multiple streams of income. I don't want to constantly have to work. I don't want to constantly have to reinvent the wheel. And then I started putting them into categories of like ways that my OCD brain naturally does. And it's like, oh, tarot readings and coaching. Well, that's all coaching, right? And then jewelry and tarot bags and witch hats. Well, that's all products that I make, right? And then over here, like sometimes I resale things, like I destash my beads and my fabric, like I get rid of stuff, right? Well, that's the resale business, right? And then I love to write. That's got its own whole fucking category. I have like several books that I want to write. Probably this course will turn into a book because that's just my process. It's like, how can I get it out to more people without having to do tons of marketing? Turn it into a fucking book. That way people can have more access to it. And that's just noticing my natural inclination. What do I naturally do? Okay. And then the fifth category was, market research studies. I just love to give people my 2 cents. Sometimes people don't like what I have to fucking say, but they pay me for it, and that's all I fucking care about because sometimes they need to know. Like there were a certain kind of batteries that they were like, oh, they last so many years in storage, and I was like, that's not happening in my house unless they fall in the back of the drawer. You know. Like I want them to last longer in the device. And as much as a bunch of other women were like, yeah, that's not what the market research study was about. Gave them my 2 cents. And then I focused on answering their questions, and I took my $150 cash and I left the door, and I'm like, you do what you want to do with this information. You asked me my opinion. I gave it to you. What you do with it is none of my responsibility. But I will tell you that market research study made me look into buying rechargeable batteries. And I really, mostly, that's what I buy. Occasionally I'll buy regular batteries, but I buy rechargeable batteries. I have a charging thing. And now what I did was I bought a label maker, and now I'm labeling the batteries so I know what device they go into, so that when they charge, they can go back into that device, and each device having their own batteries, and like game changer. Game changer. So it's noticing who you are, who you really are at your core, your inherent patterns, the things that make you feel good, the things that you come back to, and giving those a voice instead of the shit that your fifth grade music teacher, your stepfather, the guy at church, the whatever, tried to put into you because that's their beliefs or their shame or whatever. Okay, enough about that. If you're interested in this conscious languaging course, it's not going to be called that. It's going to be called something else. I have no fucking clue what it's going to be called. Do not ask me right now. I will figure it out, and I will put more information out there on Thursday or tomorrow. We'll see, probably tomorrow. But if that interests you, if you want to really play with your words and start seeing how your life really is created by the words that you think and you speak and you write, and some people are better at the writing, and we'll talk about that because that's a little bit of astrology there, then message me and get in that, because I only have 8 spots. So if you want to get in on this, this is going to be a little bit of a beta test. I mean, I've done this privately with one-on-one clients, but I've never taught it as a class. If you're interested, get in on it, because when I run it again, I guarantee you it's going to be a little different and the price will go up. It's just the nature of business, okay? All right, so what do we need to know for the next week to help us be more mindful of our words, to see through our own illusions, and to make better word choices? Watch. Battery dictionary and thesaurus prices go up because Alpita did a live about it. Anyway, whatever. Okay, first, great and full. I love this. We were just talking about words. Grateful. Grateful is great and full. Okay? This is in this deck. That's not how the word origin is. But it is. It's like the more you have to celebrate, the more fulfilled you feel, the more satisfied, the more things are going your way, the more grateful you can be. However, I will tell you that when you start focusing on the things that are going well in your life, oh, look, my hair looks nice today. Oh, look, I love my glasses. Like, focus on the things that are going well, that you can be grateful about. And I don't really like the word grateful. I like love. Because here's the thing. Instead of saying grateful and being grateful for the same 10 things that you know you can honestly be grateful about, when you think about the things that you love, you can talk about things that are not in your reality. And we're going to talk about this in the course more, but it's like you can talk about things that are not in your current reality honestly, authentically, and create them at the same time. So using the word love instead, okay? But seriously, one of the things, it's like when you put attention on the things that you want through gratitude, through love, through thank you, through, like, I've done this as a practice where I walk around my house and be like, oh, thank you to my thank you washing machine for always washing my clothes. Thank you phone for, like, oh my God, connecting me to everything, my bank, to eBay, to people all over the freaking continent, globe, right? For tracking lightning strikes, for connecting with my electric company, like early Sunday morning when we lost power, right? And getting real-time updates, right? Thank you, thank you. So if you have a hard time with the I'm grateful, because sometimes it doesn't feel authentic, and there's nothing wrong with that, walk around your house and genuinely say thank you to the things that you use every day that make your life better. Okay? Thank you to your coffee mug. Thank you to the coffee that you drink. Thank you to whatever. And the key is genuine, authentic. Don't manufacture that shit. Okay? All right. The Oracle's gift. So Neptune is a planet. It's attached to the its sign is Pisces, and Pisces is all this emotion. Where Aquarius is us Aquarians channel the wisdom of the universe, like the words of the universe. Pisces channels the emotions, the feeling of the universe. And that's what Neptune is talking about. So we've got Mercury that rules words, because Gemini is ruled by Mercury, which is another air sign, right? We've got the words that we need to rethink about what we are feeling. And with Neptune and Mercury playing their little retrograde dance, we're looking at how our words make us feel and how our feelings give voice to our words. See how it's like a loop, and it's really like an infinity loop. It's like I say positive words, I feel positive. I say negative words, I feel negative. I feel negative, I say negative words. I feel positive, I say positive words. So tuning into your intuition and being like, what do I really want to create? Neptune is the planet of not only just illusions, but it's also of dreams. What makes something an illusion and a dream? Well, an illusion is when you're behind the veil and you don't really see things clearly. A dream is something that is just like, oh my God, I know I'm supposed to experience that. I know I'm supposed to have that. It's positive. It is calling you. It's like a siren being like, come this way. Where an illusion is something that's like, no, 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 go over here. No, no, go over here. It's distraction. So a dream is a calling, an illusion is a distraction. And now an illusion can be a positive thing where you can be Delulu, as the big thing is going on right now, one of the big things going on. But it's like, okay, but are you being pulled by your dreams, or are you being distracted? Is your energy being spread out and distracted by your illusions? And sometimes it's a little bit of both. And that's what this time period is about, and this is what this class is about. It's like, where are you saying, I want that, but let me go over here and take care of that? And I was doing that. I kept focusing on paying the bills because before I wasn't. And so that was a baby step towards creating the life that I wanted. And it's like, okay, now that I'm paying the bills on my own and I've got some savings and money's left over, right? All things that I spoke into being, it's like, what do I really want? Do I want to spend the rest of my life paying bills, or do I want to create something bigger? It's like, what is the bigger dream that's calling me? And that's what I'm focusing. And I've put a dollar amount on it for the month, but it's like, okay, I'm open. And here's the thing. Sometimes we don't ask for what we want because we're like, well, is that enough money? Is that too much money? We start to doubt it and we start to judge it. And it's like, that's the number that's coming to me. That's the number that I'm going to focus on. That's what I'm going to use my intuition to guide me to. And when I get to that number, I will decide, I will know, okay? I will know in my heart, in my being, if I need more. And then I will go to the next step. Just like I went from not being able to pay the bills to paying the bills to have money left over to money in savings. See how they're like little baby steps. And they did not fucking feel like baby steps. They felt like climbing fucking Mount Kilimanjaro every fucking time until it became fucking easy. Okay? Most things are difficult in the beginning. They just are. When you haven't done something before, it's going to be challenging. When all you've spoken in your life is negativity because your inner critic is loud. It's the part of us that keeps us safe, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's like letting it do its job without ruining your fucking life. Not everything is Chicken Little, the sky is falling. Okay? And not everything, like, we don't have to have a backup plan for everything. And I'm speaking to myself just as much as I'm speaking to you because that was my natural thing. I was so busy creating backup plans, the illusions, the distractions, than actually making what I want. Because if I actually made what I want, created the amount of income that I wanted, a backup plan is irrelevant. I'd have more than enough fucking money and that I wouldn't need a backup plan. Right? So listening to your intuition. What are you focusing on? What is your intuition telling you? And then here we have Waking the Lion, and we are going into lion season, Leo season at the end of the month, right? So it's like, what are you creating? What is being awakened within you? So for me, it's like a lot of times I've noticed, because I have a passive digestion in human design. If you don't know what that means, if you're curious about your human design, that's another service that I offer. Okay, I have a short session, and then I have a longer session where we can like really deep dive and go through your chart, and you get to understand how you operate, the method to your madness, because there is a method. There is a beautiful design of the way that your mind and your body and your soul and your heart work together to create the reality that you want. And once you understand it, and it's a process, and it's beautiful. And once you like, I hate the word surrender, but once you like allow yourself to be yourself, like for me as a passive digestion, everything is hindsight. I have to allow the dots to connect. It's like looking at constellations. So sometimes you just have to just sit there and let your eyes like unfocus and refocus, and then you see, oh, there's the Big Dipper, oh, there's that, there's this, right? I'm not a formulaic person. I am in hindsight. Once I see the pattern, I can't fucking unsee it. I can create diagrams, I can create schematics, I can create whatever the fuck I want once I notice the pattern. But I don't create the pattern. I notice the pattern, and then I use it deliberately. And that's what we're going to be doing in this languaging class. It's noticing the pattern of your thoughts and your words, and consciously choosing different words. Finding words that make you excited. Like if you say, oh, I'm happy, healthy, and wealthy, and you're like, oh, I'm happy, healthy, and wealthy, that is not the affirmation for you. This is why I have a problem when people are out there saying, oh, say this affirmation 7 times a day for 7 days and your life will change. That happened for you, and I'm happy for you, but we are not all the same. You have to use words that light you the fuck up. Words that make you feel good. And sometimes happy, healthy, and wealthy doesn't have the scope that you need. Those aren't the right words. And it doesn't mean that there's anything bad with that affirmation. It doesn't mean that it's wrong. It's just not the right one for you. And that's what we're going to be focusing on. You're going to actually leave this class with like a whole bunch of things that you're going to be able to say and really get behind and start to fucking create that. And you're going to see how you need to structure your words and the words that light you up so that you can do this for the rest of your life. This is not a one and done course. I don't teach shit like that. I teach stuff that you can take, and once you learn the formula, the magic, your pattern, lather, rinse, repeat for the rest of your life. Okay? Lather, rinse, repeat for the rest of your life. Okay? And for me, it's sitting and being mindful of my words. And we're all need to do that. Becoming aware of the words that we're using. And distancing ourselves from the words that are creating the things that we don't want. And then starting to move. And Mike Dooley is a really cool. And I like his analogy. He talks about if you have a train of thought that's going, 100 miles an hour. And I'm paraphrasing. 100 mile an hour in the negative, you want to start a thought going in the positive. And sometimes that works. Sometimes I can do that. Sometimes I need to slow this train the fuck down by challenging it. Like the whole thing about the consistent income. And I'm like, wait a minute. How do I not have consistent income when I'm consistently paying all my bills? When I consistently have food on my plate? When I consistently have money left over? When I consistently have money in my savings? Of course I'm creating consistent income. Am I creating the same dollar amount every month? Absolutely not. Am I having the same services and sales every single month? Is it cookie cutter? No, I don't fucking do cookie cutter anyway, so who the fuck cares? I'm paying my bills every month. I have money left over every month. I have money in my savings every month. That is fucking consistent income. I need to find a different word than consistent income. Okay? And that's what I'm working on. I noticed that and I was just like, oh, interesting. How do I shift this? Okay? It's really awakening the power within you, your soul, your natural pattern. We're going to figure that out. I'm not going to give you a cookie cutter formula that you're going to walk away with, and sometimes it's going to work and sometimes it's not going to work. You're going to find your pattern, the way that you need to speak to yourself and think so that you can create the reality you want. Because that's what it's all about. Okay? All right. I hope this has been helpful. If you'd like a tarot reading, if you'd like to get what I call a clarity and clearing session, that is where we do a 20-minute tarot session on FaceTime or Zoom or Google Meet or whatever, and it can be recorded. Not the FaceTime, obviously, but like anything else we can record if you want to keep it. And then I will do a video, and what I do is I have a mat where it has the 7 chakras, and I put lay crystals intuitively on it, and then I use my pendulum to tune into each chakra. I tell you what's going on in that chakra. Are there things that you need to change and shift? And then I will clear those chakras to the highest level possible. I clear your entire aura and put you in a pink bubble of protection for 7 days so that you can feel the love and the safety of the universe. And that's done as a video. I will send that to you, and you can, the work is already done by the time you get the video, but a lot of people love it. And sometimes there are things like, oh, this crystal would help you. I have some. Do you want some? Or here's a place where you can get them, because I have some that I have an abundance of, but I don't carry, like, I don't really sell crystals as part of my business. But I have some that I have like more than enough that I can, resell. So that's a clarity and clearing session. That's $88. It's $20 for 20 minutes for $50 for a tarot session. If you want longer, obviously it's the same rate. So 40 minutes is $100. An hour is $150. I do limited spell work. So if that interests you, I do cord cuttings, whether it's with a single person, an issue, or generational. That is a really interesting session where we cut the cords 7 generations back, but we reconnect so that we can, like, we're clearing the generational curses, but we're tuning into the generational gifts and skills and blessings. Oh my God, such an amazing session. I did one for a client like a month or 2 ago, and then I did one for me, and it was just like a game changer. I do human design sessions. I do astrology sessions. I do like a combo of both. And I do one-on-one coaching. So what my coaching looks like, it's part energetic work, it's part mindset work, and it's also part like, what do you actually physically need to do? Like, if the dishes is a challenge for you, let's figure that out. I will look at your human design chart, and I will look at what are the things, the friction that is getting in the way of you doing the thing, and we will workshop that. And we will figure it out together, and you'll make some forward motion on it. Okay. And it's really about frequency. It's not about consistency. People talk about consistency. Consistency doesn't happen if you're focusing on consistency. Consistency happens when we're focusing on frequency. And what I mean by that is, like, not frequency as just vibration, but frequency as how many times you're doing something. So for me, with the little celebration breaks, it's not about I need to do 3 every day for the rest of my life. It's about, can I just do the next one? Can I get off this live and go do one? Okay, awesome. That felt good. I want to do another one. Where do I schedule another one, or find space in my schedule to do another one? Okay, so it's increasing the frequency. It's the same thing with our words. It's like catching ourselves saying the negative thing, and it's like, okay, can I substitute a positive thing? It depends upon the situation, whether you're substituting or you're analyzing. We'll talk about that in the course, but it's like increasing the frequency, not shaming yourself because you said something negative, but just being like, oh, that's interesting. When I get angry, I do this. We'll talk about that in the course. And just noticing, becoming a student of yourself, an observer of yourself, and then slowly starting to make changes. What do I say less of? What do I say more of? What do I do less of? What do I do more of? Okay. And playing this game until that forward momentum, that positive train of thought can't be stopped. It just can't. Once that becomes a habit and you are constantly looking for the blessing, you are constantly looking for the opportunity, you are constantly looking for how is more money going to come into my life? How is this going to work out better than I can imagine? Once that becomes like your dominant vibration, as they say, it takes a lot for that to change. And usually it's abuse. It's narcissistic abuse, it's negative people around you. You don't put yourself in that place anymore. Once you're on that high vibe and train, you don't want those kind of people around you, and you start to distance yourself, trust me. And if you don't, then you're going to end up back where you were. And I don't believe in that whole you're the sum of the 5 people you hang out with, but I do feel like the people that are around you influence you, especially if you have an open head center in human design. So you have to be really mindful of the people that surround you. You can be the outlier. You can be in a group of people that are struggling to pay their bills, and you could be a billionaire and nobody might know about it. But are those the kind of people that you want to associate when they're constantly bitching and moaning about the electric bill? And I'm not saying that the electric company is justified or whatever, ethical. I'm just saying, like, is that the kind of people that are those the kind of people that you want to hang out with? And I know I've been that person where, like, I want to bring them with me, and sometimes they're just not ready for that. So do I let them bring me down, or do I move away and hope that if they're in alignment, if they want more of what I'm doing, that they'll come this way? Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna get going because I've got other things to do. And message me if any of this stuff resonates with you. Message me, and I'd love for you to join me in this exploration of bringing consciousness and awareness to our words and changing our words so that they reflect the reality that we want, because our words do create our reality. And there is no faster way to create the life that you want than by, I'm going to say manipulating, because that's the word that's coming up, than manipulating your words, playing with your words. Like, ooh, I wonder what I could create if I just started, thinking and speaking about this. How quickly could I create this? How much better could my life get? And not handing your power over to the universe. Like a lot of people say, oh, universe, show me how good